Hey everybody, George Chamberlain here, watching your dollars on this Wednesday morning. I keep thinking it's Thursday today, but unfortunately it's Wednesday, the 17th of August. Glad to have you with us. I thought we'd talk a little bit about inflation today because this is always a hot subject and one that there's a lot of confusion about. We got out a report today on the Producer Price Index, which measures inflation at the wholesale level, and tomorrow we'll get the Consumer Price Index report out. And we'll probably talk about that tomorrow on the report. But I want to kind of go over a couple of things with you. Let's just deal with today's report. And it talks about the Producer Price Index, which measures inflation at the wholesale level. We got a number out that showed that it rose by just 0.2% during the month of July. Very modest increase. Would have been much higher had it not been for a drop in gasoline prices of 2.8%, almost 3%. That kept the overall inflation level down. Now they have what they call the core rate, where you take out food and energy prices. This is where things get a little testy with people. If you take a look at inflation when gasoline prices or energy prices and food are going up, and you subtract that out, they say, well, you're not really giving us a fair reading of what inflation is because you're not including food and energy. Well, it works the other way too. The core rate was actually up 0.4%, but because when you take out food and energy, you see that the number comes down to 0.2%. I know this gets a little wacky in here, but I want to point out a couple of other things real quick. I mentioned that gasoline prices were down 2.8%. At the same time, tobacco prices, coincidentally, were up 2.8%. Well, here's where inflation becomes such a personal thing. I don't use any tobacco. I don't smoke. I don't use any tobacco in any other way that I know of, at least I'm not aware of. So it's a bit confusing and perplexing. As far as I'm concerned, the price of tobacco could go up 100%, and it wouldn't impact my bottom line at all. I drive a lot, so when gasoline prices go down, that's really good news for me, for my own personal inflation barometer. So there's a lot of things involved with this. And tomorrow when we get out the Consumer Price Index report, I'll take you through some of the things you need to know about that, because the CPI, as they call it, our cost of living, is a basket of 17 different items. Some of them you use, some of them you don't use. And we'll talk more about that in our report tomorrow. Watching your dollars, I'm George Chamberlain. Have a good one.